with a preview of what we're going to hear tonight in the State of the Union with our friend Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. And Senator, Clay and I are going to be out in Milwaukee this summer, so we're going to have some beer. I'll find the gluten-free variety and some cheese curds. Is that the proper, right?
Yeah, beer comes after the cheese curds, but do you want to get them fresh before they're refrigerated so they squeak? So.
There we go. I'm going to eat some. I've never had the cheese curds before. So tell me, Senator Johnson, they're delicious, yes?
They're delectable, yeah. They're unusual.
So what are you expecting from Biden tonight? I'm assuming Biden's speech will not be delectable. It will be unusual, though.
He's going to try and put lipstick on this pig, but I don't think there's enough lipstick in the world to cover up the disaster that his administration has been. But that's what he's going to try and do.
When you look at the standard that basically is being set, Buck and I were talking about this earlier in the show, where if he doesn't trip falling going up the stairs, or if he doesn't have a prolonged brain freeze where he just stares lost and vacant like into the camera, Democrats are going to pronounce it a success. Yet he may only speak for an hour if he does that tonight, and maybe when he accepts the nomination, if he's actually the nominee. Based on what you see, and you obviously are in a swing state like Wisconsin where lots of people are going to help to decide who wins this election, do you think Biden can actually be the guy? Do you expect him to be the nominee on the ballots in 8 months?
Well, first of all, I hope he doesn't speak for an hour. God help us if he does. Listen, I've been predicting for quite some time that he would not be the nominee, but every day that goes by, every week that goes by, and I'm not really hearing a strategy or somebody else would be stepping up the plate. He just might be. He might be stubborn enough, cantankerous enough that he's just bound and determined to run for president. I think it's amazing to me that it's only 60-some% of the American population thinks he's too old. I mean, what's wrong with the other 30-some%? But not only is he infirmed, and his mental decline has been obvious literally for years, but he's thoroughly corrupt. Senator Grass and I, we laid out more than enough evidence of his foreign financial entanglements that would compromise him, and the House has done a great job of filling in the puzzle pieces in terms of the corruption of Biden Inc. Now, they'll never have enough evidence for the mainstream media. They'll continue to look for the smoking gun where, basically Joe has a video of him admitting taking all these bribes. But listen, this guy's been a disaster for America. He needs to be unelected.
And Senator Johnson, there's going to be a major focus tonight based on all the preview pieces that we're seeing in the media from Biden on the economy and notably tax proposals, how he's going to increase the corporate tax rate. I think now they're saying 28%, minimum tax rate for billionaires, a bunch of basically tax increases. Meanwhile, I want you to speak to that, but also what is the economy like under Biden for people in your home state of Wisconsin?
Well, the underlying problem that Biden has is that his massive deficit spending that we didn't have to incur. There was no need for a stimulus after the pandemic. There was all kinds of pent-up demand, trillions of dollars sloshing around in people's pockets. So the last thing we needed was a big stimulus, trillions of dollars deficit spending. So he sparked the 40-year high inflation. That damage has been done. A dollar you held at the start of the Biden administration is only worth 85 cents. So even though the inflation rate is down, people are still feeling the pain of it. They haven't been able to catch up, and they're not going to catch up before the election. So that's a massive problem for him, is just that basic fact that he can't escape it.
What are you seeing in Wisconsin? There seems to be a lot of optimism that Georgia and Arizona are going to flip back. We know that there were 100,000 people who voted uncommitted in next door there in Michigan, and Pennsylvania certainly is going to be a battleground. Do you feel like the momentum is on Trump's side in Wisconsin? You've won close races in Wisconsin. You know the state better than anybody. What do you expect to see? What are you seeing now?
Well, there's that level of dissatisfaction. Again, you can't hide the damage done by that 40-year high inflation. People are concerned about the open border. It's not impacting Wisconsin as much. We're not seeing huge populations of migrants. what we're seeing is dramatic increase in just drug trafficking. I'm hearing that from sheriffs all over the place. Some small towns have been impacted by this. They're having to hire interpreters for their schools because the people coming in here speak a different dialects. So people are definitely feeling that. But Wisconsin is always going to be a close state. Democrats are going to push the abortion issue as far as they can push it, and we really haven't. The legislator did take up my suggestion of proposing a referendum, not exactly the one I proposed, but basically let the voters of Wisconsin choose. Unfortunately, the state Senate pretty well killed that bill. Would have been nice to get that on Governor Evers' desk and let him veto that so we could show that Democrats have the extreme position on abortion. But they'll push abortion. We're obviously going to talk about the disaster that the Biden administration and Democrat governance has been, and really what a catastrophe the border has been. That's the other issue that Biden can't escape is, as much as Mitch McConnell tried giving Biden and Democrats cover, they're not going to be able to escape the reality that he has the authority. He used it to open up the border. He wants an open border. Democrats like Senator Baldwin voted not to complete the fence that we'd already bought and paid for. It cost us more not to build it. So they have an awful lot to answer for. And again, the fact that the open border is such a catastrophe, Americans are understanding that the mainstream media can't cover that up.
And Senator Johnson, your Senate colleague, Katie Britt, will be delivering the response tonight. Have you worked with Katie much? What can you tell us about what you think she's going to be hitting on tonight? And do you have high expectations for her going forward as a voice in the party?
Well, I think she is a rising star. She's got all kinds of energy. She's generally in a better mood than I am. So she's got that going for her. I think Americans are going to just see a very energetic, conservative, and I'm really looking forward to her speech. It's a tough thing to do. I've never really pushed to do it myself because it is so difficult. So kudos to her for being willing to do it. And I've got a feeling she's going to do a really good job.
Laken Riley. Joe Biden has not been willing to mention her name. We've talked about the case of Laken Riley quite a lot on this show from down in Georgia. Just as we've been doing the show today, and you might or might not have seen this yet. I know you're in the Senate, but the House passed the Laken Riley Act, requires ICE to detain illegals who are charged with local theft or burglary, named obviously after Laken Riley. 170 Democrats voted against it. You mentioned immigration having an impact in the way people respond. I'm sure you saw the MSNBC clip where Jen Psaki and Rachel Maddow made fun of Virginia voters for caring about immigration-related issues. Did she resonate in even the state of Wisconsin to kind of personify exactly what the cost of open borders can be?
Not only her, but the little 2-year-old that got shot in the crossfire, the 14-year-old that got raped. Every day we're hearing another travesty, another tragedy caused by an illegal immigrant. In other words, a tragedy that never should have happened. So that definitely resonates. I saw a button, just say her name. I think I'm either in the process of tweeting or I've already tweeted a picture of that button, and asking Joe Biden during the State of the Union speech to say, not only say her name, but say that he fully supports and endorses the Jason Riley Act or the Laken Riley Act.
Senator Ron Johnson, appreciate you being with us as always, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a great day.